Hello everybody, this is Josh, and welcome to the Gaming Joy channel. We're back on CalmLands, playing our 200 horsepower challenge. I'm just sitting up here at the top of the hill, looking out over the valley, and looking at this just beautiful map that we got here. I just love this view. I think one of the main reasons I like this view is really just, you can see everything. And if I were playing this on a flat map like Western Wild or something like that, you wouldn't have this kind of view. I mean, you know, same size map, same amount of land, but just the hills and stuff like that. In all honesty, I like the hills the best. I might be weird like that, but I definitely like the hills the best. But anyways, it's enough waffling on. Let's get into our, first thing to do is let's buy some land. If you remember from the last episode, we bought this corner of farmland, and we have a little bit more grass that we can mow, but we actually have a little bit of money left over. So I think I want to buy 2 more plots of land. So what we're going to do is we're going to buy this and this. And I think probably the next one we'll buy is this 13, and then maybe 26. Who knows? But we're going to do this, and partially because I want to do this like triangle shaped field here. Which goes between 2, 12, and 14. I don't know, just because. And we already mowed all this up here, and we're going to make a field out of that today. But to start off, let's get into our swather, and we're going to record a field. Now, or rather, we're going to mow this field, but I'm not going to do it. CoursePlay is going to do it. And I got a couple comments in the last video that people didn't know about the record feature with CoursePlay. So I figured, let's talk about it a little bit, right? Because it's a pretty cool feature. So what we're going to do is in CoursePlay, you have this little thing right here. And this is your CoursePlay menu. And all this stuff we'll talk about later. But this button right here, this circle button, this is your record button. If I click record, you can see it's creating a starting point, right where I started clicking, where I clicked to start recording. Now if I drive forward, and I'm going to turn on my swather when I do that. I'll explain that in a minute. When I drive forward, you can see it's dropping points. And what it's doing is it's creating a spline. So what I like to do, this is just my way of doing it. If you notice, it's dropping points in the middle of the swather. Right? So what I like to do is to record my field while mowing or something else. Mowing or maybe plowing, and as I'm recording the field, I'm basically recording the outline of that field as far as CoursePlay is concerned. And then when I go and use that course in just a minute, then it'll already know where the boundaries of my field are, and in this way I know that I'm not like just drawing a field on a map and then I'm going to be drawing a course that runs through a tree or something, right? Wouldn't want to do that. So our new boundary goes all the way down, and see those trees off on the left? That's going to be like the edge, the lower edge of our field. Right, so we're just going to keep going like this. And see how it's dropping those points? Those are essentially what's called a spline. Now, in Farm Sim, splines are used for a lot of things. Most of which is used for when we're map making. Splines define how traffic moves around a map. So when you have roads, those roads have splines that the traffic drives on. Whoa. Let's straighten out. Look, there. We'll have to fix that. But that's okay. We can fix it later. I'll show you how to fix it. And I'm going to actually do this. And we're going to keep going across here, mowing across, dropping our splines. Now, we're not going to drive on these splines. That's what the roads are for. But these splines are used to define the boundary of our field. So as we come around here, we're driving around this little bit of trees that we're going to leave not cut down. We're going to leave them up. And then we're going to come back here to this path right here. And this ensures that the bottom line is right along the path of the border. I think we're actually a little bit from the border, but that's fine. We'll drive out here to the road. So the benefit of doing this, and this is the big benefit, and I think this is why people are so excited about this feature that they didn't know about, is that once you create a custom field boundary with CoursePlay, you can then use that custom field boundary for CoursePlay itself, and CoursePlay will create courses within that boundary. Normally, you're limited to where there's a field, and obviously there isn't a field here. This is just an open meadow. So there's no field. There's no actual field in the map yet. We're obviously going to plow one in at some point. But for now, we're going to use this open meadow for grass. But to define where the field boundary is, we're using CoursePlay to do that. Which is kind of like a hidden, not really well-known feature of CoursePlay, but it's super valuable. Especially when you want to build like a custom shape. And then use that custom shape for making a CoursePlay course. Now, splines are also used for auto drive, and we'll talk about auto drive in another video. And I'll go through a full setup of like how to set up auto drive on a new map, how to build your first course, how to set up the sell points, how to do all the roads, all that kind of stuff. We'll do all of that in another video. This video, we're just kind of finishing setting up our farm. We're still on our first day. It's still August. But I want to get a field on the ground before we move to the next day. We've got our little kit of equipment there. And we'll show you that in just a minute. You come up here, loop around at this corner, and then slow it right down. And what we're going to do is try to get as close to that starting point as possible. It's pretty close. And now we're going to turn off our machine. We don't need it right now. We're going to hit stop. We're going to save the recorded course to custom field. Perfect. Now, if we go onto our map, we have this little thing right here. So CP1. If I click on it, if I go into this screen and I click on it, it tells me how big it is, 9.67 hectares. I can rename it. Since this is our first major field, we're going to call this Cross2's Meadow. And I'm going to create custom fields and name them after each of the other players who are doing this challenge. I thought that might be kind of fun. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to edit the field. Now, the reason I'm editing the field is two pieces. This little point right here, it's kind of not even, so that might cause problems. So I'm just going to move it real quick. Now, as you see, as I move, see the highlight on the border, like the little circle on the ground? That's showing the point I'm going to click on. And so if I move it over here, click and drag, I'm moving that stop point. And if I move this one also, we're going to straighten these out. Perfect. And then you can kind of fly along the whole course. And you could edit any of these points that you want. Most of them are pretty good. We drove in a pretty smooth line. There was one point down here on the corner that I didn't like. Let's see if we can fix it. Oh yeah, look at that. That's just a mess. All right, so to delete waypoints, we have to highlight this menu over here, click that, and now we can just delete waypoints. And it created a ton of waypoints around this corner. I don't need all of these waypoints. So we're just gonna delete most of them and make this a lot simpler of a route. All right, so let's go there. Delete, delete, delete. Come on, highlight those points. Go back to move, and let's start moving these. So they're all stacked up. That's the problem. There we go. I'll fast forward through this, and I'm going to come back as soon as I get this cleared up. All right, we're back. I cleaned up the corner, just made a nice smooth transition, got rid of all those extra points. This is the only thing I wanted to do. So now that we're done, we're going to leave everything else the way it is, and we're going to call it a day. So I'm going to hit escape to get out of this menu. And now, if I drive my swather kind of into the field a little bit, we're going to see Crusty's Meadow, and we're going to be able to create a job. It's going to automatically select that field that we just made. Everything's perfect. We're going to open the generator. We're going to do 2 headlands, do a little bit of overlap on the headlands. And then this part, we're going to set to 0. So what that's going to do, and then we're actually the up down row angle, we're going to have it go across the map because we don't have to go up and down the field all the time. So the up down row angle to 90, generate course. Now that takes just a minute, but that's okay. Then we're gonna hit escape. We can see our course going across and going around. Perfect. I'm gonna hit escape again. This is the way I like to start courses. Oh, it's going counterclockwise. Okay, that's fine. It's fine with me. Does it matter for me? So what I like to do to start a course is I always like to come up here and I like to hit B, start my machine. I'm gonna hit, then I'm gonna hit Control H because I use my keyboard. And as you can see, the middle of the machine is following the course right along the path that we created, or rather against the edge of the path. Now, the edge of the left side of the machine is actually along where the middle of the machine was before. So there's a little bit of an overlap, but this ensures that we're not missing anything, which is even more important in the next step when we plow. But for now, we're going to let this CoursePlay worker execute on this field, and he's going to go ahead and do his thing. Now let's talk about a couple other things in the display of the CoursePlay menu for those who are new. This is how I understand it. If you understand it better, please leave a comment down in the comments below if I missed something out. But basically, you have this little eye icon, and so this controls how much of the course you can see. So when it's grayed out, that means you can't see anything. When it's yellow, you can see just your start point. So if you look real close, there's a start point up there, and the end point's somewhere down there. It's only showing the start and the end points. And this is somewhat new. It's the blue mode. This is my favorite mode. I leave it in this mode all the time because it shows kind of where you've been, past like 3 or 4 past the behind the machine, and then about 20 points in front of the machine of where you're going. This is really easy because if you stop, if I hit H, I can stop CoursePlay and I have to do something, move a tree, and I have to get back to where I'm going, I can see which path I'm on. And that's very, very handy. Now you can either start and stop with the keyboard as I did before. So I use Control H as the default binding, or you can go and do with your mouse. I hit the middle mouse button to get my cursor available, and I can click go. And it's going to go to the nearest waypoint. It also tells you where you are on the overall course. So this overall course has 2,482 points. I'm at point 166 of that course. It tells me who I work with. It tells me whether my tool is offset horizontally or not, which you can change right here in this display by clicking plus and minus. And then if you wanted to copy this course to another machine, you'd click this button right here, and that's a copy function. And it will say, when you do it, it'll say copy temporary course. And I just clear because I don't need to copy it. That kind of puts it in memory so you can copy it and paste it into another machine if you wanted to, let's say, use this same course with 2 machines. And we're going to eventually do that in this playthrough. My goal is to actually harvest most of our fields using the swather. But that's pretty much it. That's your CoursePlay menu for you. And we'll show it again one more time. So let's go over to our other set of machinery. And let's just tab up the hill to our other tractor. Here we go. We'll talk about our machinery. So what we've gotten, we spent the rest of our money on a simple set of starter equipment. We've got the SP10M from Ridiculous Dominic. Thank you, Dom, for this amazing plow. We're using the Eurospan spreader on its own little trailer, which is actually kind of cool. I actually really like the trailer. Though it's annoying to back up, it's actually fun to when it's going forward. We have our iconic stone picker. This is the Elho stone picker, but it has the extra section on the top, which means that it goes a lot wider. This map does have stones. We do have stones turned on, so we're going to need to pick up those stones. We're using the Knockerling Joker seeder. Yes, I could have used the small little John Deere seeder like everyone's going to use on this playthrough, but this one holds a lot more. So I think personally, I don't want to refill as much, so I like it. And then we also have the multi-roller. So thank you to Mac Trucker for this awesome multi-roller. Right now it's in its field roller state because we're going to have to roll the seeds after we put them in. But let's go ahead and do essentially the same thing. We'll probably fast forward through a little bit of it when we do it on the plow. But this plow has one cool feature that is going to make this 200 horsepower challenge a little bit easier. So if we connect the plow, you'll see that the plow's tines are pointed backwards. And I did that on purpose. Because if you point them forward, this specific tractor, it struggles just a little bit with them pointed forward. And don't worry, it'll work, but it just struggles a little bit, especially when it's expanded out. It struggles a little bit more, and it changes gears a lot. So without an actual 200 horsepower tractor, this is the way we're going to go. It still works in reverse, it just doesn't drag as much. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing we did before. We're going to put our plow down. We're going to press Y to set on field create mode. We're going to record, and we're going to go around our new field and make a new field here. Now, one of my favorite reasons why I like this plow is exactly what I'm doing right here. You can plow when it's in its collapsed mode. But what that means is essentially you have like a 3.4 meter plow and a 10.5 meter plow in one. And I love to use it for this exact reason. So I go around the course and I can record the outside of my CoursePlay field, custom field, using the smaller setting, and then just switch it to the open it up, and then basically execute on that field, and it works absolutely perfectly. Never misses a beat. We're going to lock into the 90 degrees right here and go right across the top of this meadow. This is going to be the outer border of our field. And because it's recording to the middle of the tractor, now that means there's like a 1.5 inch margin, 1.5 meter margin on either side, essentially. And that means that it just makes a perfect field the first time. So as we navigate around, you'll see I did a little bit of landscaping on this field, and I kind of did what the opposite of most people would do on this map, I think. And I landscaped in more rocks, which I think sounds a little silly, but I like this kind of rock plateau that was here. Before, there was a little bit of a hill here, and I kind of wanted to exaggerate that rock cliff and use it to my advantage to separate our two fields that we're going to make. So we're going to make one field right here, and we're going to get to about there. We're going to go perpendicular across here, and then this will be the gap between the two fields. We'll do one field on the bottom side, one field on the top side. Sounds good, right? And as you can see, there are rocks coming up, but they're the little rocks. Oh, I just went right over the corner. Ouch. I went over the corner of our property. Didn't hit it perfect this time. Oh well. We'll figure that out later. And we're just going to loop around. Now, those rocks aren't going to be that big of a deal, but we're just going to let CoursePlay pick them up, so we're not worried about them. And we want to have the best yield possible. We are running precision farming. I I think I've run precision farming all the time since it came out. And I prefer running precision farming. Leave a little bit of a border on the edge of our field to the road, so we don't have to drive in our crops by accident. And then we'll make it around to the end. And as you can see, the swather still doing its job, still running its custom course and its custom field. Making us some more grass, because, you know, silage is king, right? On easy, though, I think we're going to be able to do just about whatever we want. So we're going to go here. We're finished. Done. We're going to save, yes, recorded field CP2. I'm going to lift up the plow before I make a mistake. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before, right? So we're going to come in here. We're going to edit this course real quick. I'm going to click on CP1. We're going to rename it. So this is going to be a grain field. We're going to call it Rusty's Hillside Grain for Rusty Money. And hit OK. And then we're going to edit the custom field real quick. And just move this 1 point to make sure it's perfect. Oh, I think I'm over. There's 2 points there. That's weird. It's okay. Do this to here. This one to there. We'll use the extra points. So now they perfectly overlap. And done. Perfect course. Now we move our tractor into the field. And we're going to get him going off. So create a new job. CP field work. That field is, I forget how big it was. Did you see how big it was? I didn't see how big it was. A 0 field margin is correct. We'll do 3 headlands. We're going to set this to manual, 0. A little bit of overlap. And generate. For plow on the ground, we're still on field create mode. And hit go. And switch this to the blue visual mode, which is the one I like. And as you can see, we're inside the border of what we created. And this is kind of the crazy part. I'm running a CoursePlay course with create field on. So if this guy messes up, I'm going to be in a world of pain. Or have lots of landscaping to do. But this guy will just keep going and going on. Now that little line that's sticking out of the front, you may have noticed, in case you don't know, that's the enhanced vehicles targeting thing. And it's because I did create a track to go straight across this piece right here earlier. So it's already on. I didn't turn it off. It's not a big deal. It doesn't affect CoursePlay at all. Now, as we go, and we're probably just going to let these guys run and then come back when they're done. There's one last thing to talk about. And we're going to talk about this. So as we come up here, we're going to talk about this. Now this is the mobile sell point. Now when I created my first video, it was before anyone else had recorded anything. No one else had recorded. I didn't know what was going on. I just kind of did my best. And so I used the mobile with sell point because, well, I use it all the time. It's one of my favorite things to use. It's a great mod. But when I finished my video, right around when I finished my video, so the other folks in this challenge, Rusty and Crusty, had posted their videos. And I saw how they were playing. And I kind of felt bad about using that mobile with sell point because it's kind of overpowered, sort of, depending on how you think about it or look at it. It's kind of an overpowered mod. So what we're going to do is we're just not going to use it anymore. And I didn't want to re-record my video. I talked to Crusty about it. He said, fine, do whatever you want. Play whatever way you want to. It's your game. But don't re-record. That's silly. I didn't re-record. I posted anyways. But I think what we're going to do is we are going to turn this off. We're going to get rid of it. And we are going to play without it. So if we want to cut down any more trees, we can just cut them down normally. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come in here to, whoops, wrong one. Instruction, delete, sell. It didn't have any wood in it anyways, it's gone. So no more mobile wood sell point. Any more wood we have to do the right way with trees and trailers. And I think a lot of it is just because selling directly or like using what that mod or another mod to sell directly kind of defeats the purpose of this map. A lot of this map and a lot of the challenge of this map are these huge hills and climbing up and down the hills with your load of things to sell. And I think that's part of the feeling of the map, and we're playing on easy mode anyways, so why make it even easier? So that's what we're doing. But right now, we're going to let this CoursePlay course right here finish, this CoursePlay course right here finish, and we'll come back and when we start the next phase of it, and I'll probably do most of this stuff not on time lapse or anything like that. We'll just jump cut because it's, you know, you've all seen seeding and whatnot before, but we'll be right back.
You're still in my veins. Would you hear if I called? After all you put me through, broken promises are haunting me.
jumping back into our recording. As you can see, I'm in the middle of recording our second field. We're probably going to call this the Northern Farm Sim field, as he was the... Totally going to have to fix this section here. There we go. Finally got on a straight line. Not a very good straight line. But anyways, this is going to be the Northern Farm Sim field, and we can plant whatever we want. I haven't decided what I'm planting here yet. But maybe something like canola or something like that that grows relatively fast. So we can still use our swathers to harvest. Because of the way we're planning on harvesting, we're going to be focusing on a lot of grain crops. In the cereal crops in this playthrough. But, you know, sky's the limit, really, as long as we can get the equipment to do what we need to do. Let's finish up this field, name it, and get to plowing. Now, obviously, this is a bit of a slow process. As you can see, an hour or more has passed in the game while we're finagling these fields. Stop. Stop. Yes. We're going to call it, we're going to kind of do a little backwards thing. So we're going to come in here to this one, click on the CP1, rename. We're going to call this Northern Sim Farm. I know I spelled that backwards, but Northern Sim, we'll do Northern Sim Field. God, I can't spell today. Northern Sim Field, perfect. And then we're gonna edit our custom field. Edit, fix these points. Waypoints are a little bit off. This one. These are better. Now we're going to come over here to this corner, this side that we totally messed up, and fix it. Because we were trying to go, like, use the EV thing, enhanced vehicle, to set a straight line, and we did a horrible job setting that straight line. I mean, look at this. It's all wavy as all heck. So what we're going to do is we're going to slowly fix it and just pull each point over in kind of a straight line. We can follow this. If we look, we're kind of in a furrow. And if we use the game's furrows to our advantage, we can mark a line down that furrow. And then once it's done plowing, we can just use the paint tool to fix this. Right there. And then I'm going to hit delete and go doot. Off of delete. Move this point. That point. And there we go. So we fixed it. Hit escape. Our field is done. Lift up the plow to make sure we don't mess up our field. And then get to plowing. Let's see here. Create job. Field work. Generate course. Dim dim dim. And this field is, what do we see? Almost 3 hectares. That's pretty good. We'll let him go. We did have to upgrade the farm field boss thing to have dual tires because it is having a little bit of a problem getting traction. And I think it's not necessarily because it's having a problem getting traction. It's actually because of the stone picker. Those arms on that stone picker don't move. So if the ground is uneven at all, it has a little bit of a problem. And I think I'm going to have to go fix that problem now. But this has only got 15 minutes to do. We will finish plowing this field, and hopefully the other field will be ready to plant. And through the magic of editing, you're just going to see it back. And we're back in the white farm boss now on this field. And you can see the kind of size of what we're going for. I'm not going small. I mean, you know, we're using small equipment, but that doesn't mean I have to have small fields. I kind of want to expand. I want to look at that big open field there. Wouldn't that be awesome? Big grass field right there, across there. I don't know. Who knows? But we've almost finished our first lap of the stone picking. Now, the stone picker is working okay. We don't have crazy capacity on it. I think it's 5,000 liters. It's nothing crazy. This one goes up to 100,000 liters, so we're definitely not doing that. But the only problem with this stone picker is the wings. The wings don't flex at all. So even right here, see how it's like struggling? It's because the wings are not flexing with the ground. The interesting thing is I know how to fix that. I might actually try to fix that. But either way, this thing is going ahead and stone picking. Stone picking is not fun at all. What we're going to do is jump back over to the tractor. So here's our turbo. It's the Turbo Lizard 6205 Turbo. And we have a Knockerling Joker Cedar. This thing has about, I don't know what we're gonna, has about 2,800 liters, I think. And the next thing we have to do, and I've kind of already picked out a spot, but we'll do it right now, is right here by this rock. It's kind of in the middle of our fields. This is where we're going to put our fill station. Now, we can always put down more than one, but we're going to put down right here. So if I back up a little bit, go into construction. Now, if I try to place it on this ground, it's just going to deform everything, and it's not going to be good. So I'm going to flatten the ground myself, like this. So we're going to come from here, go back like that, and hopefully that won't mess with the ground too much. And then we're going to go ahead and paint that area, paint it in cobblestone or something so we know which area we're trying to go for. It's going to get overridden by whatever the Fieldworks fill station has, but it doesn't matter. Let's go to containers. Fieldwork fill station. We are not going to use the free one because that would be sort of cheating, I guess. We're going to use this. It's kind of on a hill. That's fine. It's not a big deal for us. But we're going to use this one. We're not going to use the old one. Actually, we don't even have that one installed. This is the original version. Of the mods. We're just going to place this here, and we're going to go boop. And it's going to change the ground again. But I kind of like that cobblestone look in there. So let's go ahead and put the cobblestone back in, because that looks kind of cool. All right, so cobblestone. To get it in there, I have to do it from the sides. This. That. There we go. It's cobblestone. Now we're going to have a big bump here on the ground, but we're going to fix that. Now that the fill station's in, we can go ahead and re-landscape this area up. Back up. So if we go like this, we go. It's going to bury the feet of the fill station, but that's okay. Level it off. Let's do it one more time. And that looks pretty solid. Let's fix our road. And we're good to go. Is that the road? That's kind of not the road. That's not the road texture. Where's the road texture? Here's the road texture. There we go. And we're just decorating a little bit just because, you know, might as well. For some reason, I always like putting like a big bush at the foot of this thing to kind of hide the legs. I don't know why. It's just the way I do it. I always do this. And I like putting a little... What are these things? It's the only time I like this tree is when it kind of hides my fill station. Now it looks more natural, and then we're going to go fill this thing up. Sweet! Open the cover. Ooh, I like that animation on the cover. That's pretty awesome. Nice and smooth. Good to go. This thing only takes seed, which is fine. And we're going to come over here and we're going to seed some barley in this field. It'll be our first crop that we seed. And I think this tractor can pull this little seeder. I really hope. It's 6 meters. It's going to take a while. But we got time, and we got CoursePlay, so create a job, open. Now we set this at like negative 1.6 or so to offset the size of the middle of the plow thing, and set it manual on 0, go. And you don't really see much difference between that, It's only a little difference between the plowed texture, or not the plowed texture, the stone picker texture, and the texture from the seed. It's not much of a difference. But they will be going in different directions because the stone picker went in a counterclockwise direction. Oh, that. Let's see where it goes. Alright, so this guy's going to try to pull this, and let's see how he does. Looks like he's doing okay. He's overlapping the edge a little bit more than I want, but that's okay. I don't have anything within the bounds that's going to get caught on, I don't think. Except maybe one of these trees up here. But nonetheless, we'll make sure to get all the way to the edge and seed this entire field. Now, this is going to take a while. It says 1 hour and 1 minute. Well, I'm definitely not going to make you sit through that. But we're going to seed this field, seed that field, and then... spread some lime and fertilizer. It's going to be the whole thing. And by the time it's nighttime, we might be done. We might not. We'll see. But I'll jump back in once, I guess, both fields are seeded and maybe we start the rolling. And I don't know. Maybe I'll start picking up the grass. There's a lot to do. And this video is already running pretty long. But we've had a fun little time learning CoursePlay, right? Now, here's the last thing. If you need help with CoursePlay, or you don't understand something that I was trying to show you today, hit me up in the comments below. I'd love to like maybe do another video showing more details if it's something that you want to learn, or maybe even link you to a better video of someone else who is doing a CoursePlay tutorial who's better than mine. Who knows? That might happen. I don't know. But let me know in the comments what you think is the right way to do it, and or what you need to know to get your CoursePlay done. And I'm going to jump back with you in a few minutes. We're here finishing up this field. Finally got it seeded. Now, we're having a bit of a problem. This seeder and this horsepower of our tractors is kind of not playing well together. And as you can see, we have a new tractor over there. We still had a little bit of extra money, and in all honesty, I wanted to get something a little bit closer to 200 horsepower. Now I have two options. I have this Fiat, which is actually a pretty cool tractor. It's pretty snappy. I like it. We'll see what happens. And then there's also, I actually also found another version of this field of a white tractor, which is the field, not the field boss, but the something. I don't know. Unless, what was it? I don't remember now. The white workhorse, and it's a little bit more horsepower. It actually caps right out at 200 horsepower, so it's perfect for this challenge. So we might switch it up. We might even switch up that black one over there, because that one it shifts really weird, and it just causes everything to take forever and a day. So we might swap that out. But in the meantime, we want to get this day finished and get this planting done. So we're gonna let this worker finish up this last pass and a half or something. I can probably do this pass myself. Thank you very much. And then we're going to swap out and see if we can get the Fiat to seed the next field. Because this one just took forever. I think the CoursePlay prediction said like just over an hour, and it actually took almost 2. And it all has to do with the weight of the seeder and all kind of stuff. And I know I'm using a slightly bigger seeder than maybe is necessary, but it says 160 horsepower, so it should work. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But for now, we have finished that field, and we're going to go over and see the next field. So let's swap out our tractors here. And then once we're done, the field boss is going to come over here and do some mowing for us. The other thing we did while we were doing that is when we bought the Fiat, we also got ourselves a water tanker. So our money's down just a little bit. And we got the water tanker. Let's actually run up and look at it real quick. It's up here at the house. It's a really cool water tanker. I've never used this one before. I love using new mods on new playthroughs. It's this little thing. Super simple model, honestly. It's got dual wheels in the back, so it's pretty stable. It's only like $3,500 for 10,000 liters. And then we also got this little water trough. Now this water trough is actually by the map maker. It's released as a separate mod. It's called like a water fountain or something like that. But I put it right next to here, so we can kind of pull up a tractor, park the trailer kind of halfway between this dump trigger and this fill trigger, and basically fill and dump at the same time. And because that production needs water for a lot of stuff, so we will need to fill it up with water, but I'll do that off stream. No big deal. For now, let's get our Fiat onto the seeder. Good job. Still pretty full of seed, so that's a good thing. You see this guy struggling. Like, he's not moving very fast. He's struggling a little bit. I think once we get this field planted, we're going to have to actually drive on the road. For right now, we're driving on here. And I think, what did we decide? We said we're going to do canola. So we're going to do canola in this field. And let's get CoursePlay set up. In the northern sim field, we're going to do canola. Whoops. Wait, what are you doing? Create job. No. CoursePlay field work. Thank you. I found a good offset as 1.6 for that plow. So we're going to do that. Generate. Yeah, sure. That's fine. We'll go across for this one. And then switch to the blue one because we like the blue one. And then the last CoursePlay setting that I set on every single vehicle, and I don't understand why it's not a CoursePlay default, is this setting right here. So we go into here, you go to this menu right here. This is the CoursePlay vehicle specific menu. And it's got lots of stuff in here, but the one that I care about is this one right here. Raise tools early, lower tools late. So in other words, when it's starting to make a turn, it raises tools early in the turn, and then it lowers them down late through the turn. That's backwards. It should be late and early, and this ensures that it gets all the way to the end of a row and then goes a little bit extra, picks up the tool, turns around, goes back down. I'm sure there's a reason for having it the other way. I don't know what it is. I change this on every vehicle every single time. Little secret there, but now you know. We also did a little bit of landscaping right here on this hill. This hill or this cliff had some problems when we were plowing. And not plowing, sorry. when we were stone picking, because the stone picker, again, doesn't have the flexible arms. So we did a little bit of landscaping and made that cliff actually more substantial. I think it looks really cool now. I hope I did a good job. But nonetheless, that's where we are. Now, we've done lots of seeding and planting today, and we don't want to do this all the time. So let's let this guy run his course. And he seems to be doing a little bit better. Honestly, the Fiat seems to be doing better. I mean, he's getting up to the 20 miles an hour that we, or 20 kilometers an hour that we can do on this seeder, which is a good thing. So he's doing good. We'll let him be. I think that's going to be a much more successful seeding. And look, it says it's only going to take 31 minutes. So that's good. So let's jump out and jump over into the white. Not this one. This guy is still going. We're jumping into the white. Now let's take this white. We're going to start bailing up these windrows. Now we do need to spend a little bit of time bailing these up just so we can save the grass, obviously. And while we do that, we're just going to kind of go back and forth on our own. Maybe we'll pull Josh, the cameraman, in here to kind of get a cool view on us picking up these windrows, but it's a very manual process. It's not super easy, but it's got to get done. So let's just hop to it, do some baling, and unfortunately we don't have a second tractor right now, or third or fourth tractor, I guess you could say, to actually do the pickups. Let's actually do this, right? If we set this course right there, and we'll go from there. So that should be able to pick it up, and then we'll come through and pick all this stuff up. We'll let the cameraman Josh kind of jump in and start filming us, and we'll see you down here in a minute. Got lots of stuff going on, not too much time, but make it happen. Let's just zoom through it. Let's get through this fast. And with that, baling is done. That was pretty smooth, except for the cameraman like not turning the camera on at the beginning. Well, you know, can't get good help these days. Now we just got to pick up all these bales. But that's not hard. We can do that on our own. But I'll run around with you while we do the first. If you look, actually, our workers are still going. It looks like, if you can see from the little window down the bottom right or left, I got 9 minutes left on the roller, 16 minutes left on the seeder, and then we'll have to see the other one, and we'll have to spread some fert, stuff like that. So they're moving along. I'm happy to have the extra workers. CoursePlay, you know, is really good for this and keeping things moving and allowing you to build kind of, I mean, we are on day one on like sort of start from almost nothing kind of start, and we already have 2 massive fields already seeded and planted. We've made, oh, let's look, I want to see. We've made 176 bales of grass so far. And all from the exact same starting funds that everyone else started with. So we did make quite a bit of money off those trees, and that's such a good thing. But we're going to continue plowing through and getting into our next day. We'll see what happens. Now, if you look at our map, let's look at our map real quick. We'll park this thing. Look at our map. We have these 4 plots of land, and then this whole section of this field we haven't even touched. Like, we haven't plowed that at all, done that with anything with that at all. Ideally, I'd like to get like all of this, because that would be super fun. But at a minimum, I'd like to get 13. Getting 29 gets us across towards the thing. I don't know if we should go there or go down. One thing I would like to do is get some productions down on this plot of land here, which means we might have to buy 18. And yeah, we'll keep going. But we're just like off to a lightning start here, right? And I'm having a ton of fun with this. We will have to deal with the tractor situation because, you know, I don't know if you saw it, but this tractor was struggling pretty hard coming up those super minor hills pulling this baler. So I think we're kind of, as far as the equipment we have, we're right on the limits of what 200 horsepower can pull. So we got to make do with what we have and try to figure out creative ways to keep moving forward. But I'm going to finish up here on the farm by doing this little trick right here, which is with the fill and dump at the same time thing, right? Not run into the building. Here, I'll show you what I mean. So the back of the trailer is where the tip is. The front is where the fill is. So if I hit R, I'm filling. And if I hit I, I'm dumping at the same time. And so I'm filling and dumping, filling and dumping. And so basically I'm just flowing the water from the water point into the building. And it looks like they're not exactly even, which is normal. So we're going to end up having it to like start the filling or stop the filling as needed. But this way we can put a ton of water into this production building right away. Now, if we look at the production building while that's happening, see what it's doing. We want to turn this one on because this gives us the same like 1-to-1 ratio, 1,000 to 1,000. But it also basically turns water into digestate, which in digestate sells for money. So why not? So we do want to turn that one on as soon as we can get enough water in here. Right now we have 37,000 liters of water. So we can actually probably activate that one. And then the other one we are currently making is lime, which also uses water 1-to-1 with the stones. So we are making a bunch of lime. We are going to have to lime our fields. Initially we'll buy it, but eventually we're going to have to be able to use our own. But that's going to be it for today. I'm going to call it right there and leave. Let's do a little screenshot here. Let's turn our icons off. And leave the screenshot with us right here. It's a beautiful screenshot. Or not. There we go. Beautiful screenshot. We're going to leave it right here as what we did today, and we're going to come back next time. We'll see you next time. We'll be finally into the next month, and see how much silage we made, and then we're going to have to find a way to sell that silage. That's going to be entertaining, to say the least. I want to say, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Comment down below. Tell you how much you're liking this CalmLands series. I noticed there's a lot of new subscribers, so welcome. Thank you for being here. Let me know down below what you like about this series and what kind of brought you in. And I'd love to see your comments on what you think I should do next with this kind of tractor limitation challenge, which is actually the point of the challenge. But give me any tips you have on using up to 200 horsepower tractors on this very hilly terrain, and I will try to get to use them in the next video. But until then, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.